I want to welcome my two guests tonight to talk about the project Bug Out. And this is the new project that is going to reduce the population of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Vincent Wheatley, Sister Islands Coordinator with the Deputy Governor's Office. It's always good to see you.
Nice to be here always.
Yeah, you seem like you're active.
Yes.
I think this is like the second week in a row.
Yeah, I'm here with you. Yeah. Always a pleasure being here with you in deep conversation.
And Jonathan Oates, he's the General Manager of Eustacia and Chairperson of the Bug Out Steering Committee. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. Pleasure to be here.
Well, Project Bug Out is new, and it's quite an interesting name. You could bug out, go crazy, or you could bug out, get the bugs out.
Get the bugs
so
out.
It's an interesting play on words. What is its origin?
Well, before we get into the origin, Cromwell, I don't know how many folks even realize that this week is Caribbean Mosquito Awareness Week, from the 9th to the 15th.
I don't think anyone knows that.
I'm not sure many folks even know about it, because it's conflicting with another week. I think it's
it's Nurses Week.
Right?
Nurses Week,
so
Seniors Week of month.
So it kind of got buried, but it is Caribbean Mosquito Awareness Week. And because the mosquito has been a plague in the Caribbean for a very, very long time, and even more so over the last few years. We've had chikungunya, dengue forever, and now Zika. So we're basically here as a response to the Zika virus. And we Jonathan and I both attended an emergency meeting on February 23rd, in which we were looking at the BVI Zika response. And my particular responsibility was to deal with Zika response on the sister islands. And I found Jonathan at that meeting, where he was already involved in a project to control mosquito eradication over on Virgin Gorda. So I said, Jonathan, we need to team up, so to speak, and get involved with this project here and really make it a total BVI and Virgin Gorda project. So we're using Virgin Gorda kind of like at the template. We're going to create a model for mosquito eradication. I mean, Jonathan has a host of experience with mosquito eradication. We're also involved with advisors from Caymans and so forth. So you're going to hear a lot more about that earlier.
Yeah, why don't you just answer all questions one time?
The Virgin Gorda economy is a tourism economy, and we fully appreciate that Zika and Virgin Gorda, along with Little Lakes Bay closing and Virus and YCCS, is devastating. So as a community, we decided to come together privately and join with government and create a situation to respond to Zika, because we cannot handle a Zika situation in Virgin Gorda on top of everything else.
So this project Bug Out is designed specifically for Virgin Gorda?
Primarily, yes.
Okay. What about Anegada?
In the second instance. But Jonathan, we're going to expand more about the project throughout the course of this evening.
Okay.
But it's primarily Virgin Gorda focused at this time.
Okay. And it came out of the desire to stem the rising breeding of mosquitoes in Virgin Gorda.
And mosquito-borne illness.
And
I'll let Jonathan give you a little more detail about that.
Yeah, Jonathan. I know that you were at the emergency meeting. We were all at the emergency meeting.
That's right.
Yes.
And now that you drew it to my attention, I remember. We were all at the emergency meeting. And this is new and interesting, and I'm anxious to hear what it's all about.
Well, I think Vincent covered quite a bit of the origins, and certainly Zika was the call to action that shook all of us. Throughout the Caribbean, economies are heavily reliant on hospitality and tourism. And when we heard the news that resorts were getting hit with $30,000 to $100,000 of losses in booking cancellations, airlines were offering complimentary refunds without penalties, all very warranted and fair responses, but suddenly it called us to action on Virgin Gorda, where we're very tourism dependent, to do something about it. What are we doing currently? And unfortunately, the answer was a little disappointing, maybe not enough. Maybe our story wasn't good enough and our actions weren't strong enough at that moment. Fortunately, we had been doing a lot of research on mosquito eradication privately for some of the individual resorts over the last year and a half, and it became the perfect moment for Vincent and I to unite and start the fight on Virgin Gorda against these mosquitoes. What we know is that all of these diseases boil down to just the mosquito. And without getting into the medical component of Zika virus and chikungunya and dengue, we know that if we can reduce the mosquito populations, we will reduce the diseases that are spread. We also know that this is not a service that can be offered and delivered by a small group of people, but rather this needs to be a community-driven program, and everybody in the community plays a part. I think a lot of times, especially in this environment where we have mosquitoes throughout the year, there's a complacency of they're always going to be here and we can't ever get rid of them. But the truth is we can if the community bonds together. And Virgin Gorda happens to be a perfect model site for demonstrating this. So Vincent and I have been getting out there, spreading the word of empowerment and engagement in the community that everybody needs to do this. The problem fundamentally is that I can get rid of all the mosquitoes on my property, but if my neighbor has done nothing, I'm still being plagued by mosquitoes.
So what are we talking about in terms of methods?
Well, we've got a 5-pronged approach, and I think that's the meat of the conversation, but I have to preface it because we don't get right into that course. The first thing is really spreading the message that where do mosquitoes come from? Where do they grow? Where do the eggs go? Where do the larvae come from? What's the life cycle? Which one's biting me? Which one's spreading diseases? Lots of different questions. So there's an education component that comes first. Within that education component, our first method is source reduction. Go after the source. The mosquito that's already flying around the room, it's too late. You can't do anything about that mosquito. You can spray everything you've got at it and you will kill it, but you'll have a lot of adverse effects on other animals and on other humans. So the first thing is go after the breeding sites, and this is water. We know this. This is fresh water, this is murky water, but standing water is where mosquitoes come from. So if we can start reducing the amount of standing water, we can reduce the breeding sites. From there, that source reduction campaign, what we found on our island and on other islands throughout the world and other communities is that source reduction can be 50 to 60% reduction. So half your mosquito battle is won if you can reduce the sources. That's a big stride, and it's most importantly the first stride. Anything you do after that, if you don't do that first step, it's not going to be a very effective method.
And we know that the Ministry of Health has been engaged in campaigns.
And working with us also.
Yeah.
They've been doing a great job with the Fight the
Fantastic
Bite
job.
Yes.
campaigns, and this is why it's very important that this is community driven and has some private resources dedicated to it, but it's very much in partnership with Ministry of Health and environmental health as well. Waste management plays a part, public works plays a part, and even DDM plays a part.
Okay. So are we talking about everybody in the community making sure that there are no open containers, attachments, water?
Exactly.
It sounds simple, but that's the first step. And it's a big one. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff out there.
In the system outlets, just capping them with a piece of screen wire.
Yes.
So some of the resources that Project Bug Out is providing to the Virgin Gorda community include that screen material, those zip ties, but more importantly, community cleanup days where we activate 60 to 75 of our youth and community members on a volunteer basis to get out there and make a difference, actually pick things up. Also, not just a physical cleanup, but an information gathering stage where we start to identify the bigger sources that maybe we can't tackle with our own hands. Maybe these are derelict vehicles. I have to give a huge congratulations to Greg Massacote at Waste Management for his effort to remove 73 derelict vehicles in the name of mosquito eradication from Virgin Gorda 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
3 weeks ago.
Huge effort. That's a big win in the mosquito battle. Unfortunately, we probably have to do that 3 more times to get all the derelict vehicles out, but that's what we need to do to reduce mosquitoes.
And that's a major problem. Matter of fact, right down here in front of JTV's office, there are quite a number of of exposed derelict vehicles. I'm sure with the rain over the last several days,
Exactly.
there's got to be a lot of water in those vehicles.
So when we do our community cleanups now, the first ones were just based on collection of trash. Now we actually have an app that was developed in the campaign to fight Ebola on a medical front. It was developed to pull in remote field surveys and information. So we've rewritten it a little bit for this program where we can start tagging, geotagging. There are derelict vehicles at this GPS location. There's an open well at this location. There is an unfinished building that's abandoned that has a cistern that's full of septic water and mosquitoes are swarming out of it. So we can start to tag these major issues throughout Virgin Gorda and have that all populate on a map, and then we can work with Public Works or with Waste Management to have a priority list so that they can use their resources more wisely.
Okay, I gotta go. I have to backtrack.
Yeah.
Because
Of course.
that's a lot of information with the app that perhaps gone right over my old head.
Sorry.
You know.
You have an iPad there.
Yeah, but it sounds really interesting, and I need to make it clear. You have an app on your phone that, with a GPS, the global positional system can tell you where there is open water.
If somebody
No, someone
logs
has to
it.
see it, yeah.
So what I can do is make a list of these sites. I can go with my phone in the field and we can empower some of the youth through Rotaract and Interact to have this app. And led by us, we can go out and do field identification of these
So,
sites.
so what do? You take a
And-
picture?
You take a picture.
Exactly.
And
Take a
then it
picture of
knows
the
where your
site.
phone is, so it pinpoints that on a map.
Okay.
So now we can have a priority list.
So back at your office, you can see
Exactly.
you can see where
Exactly.
all these
Where our
sites
problems
because of the pictures that the field
So
agents, so to speak,
You can identify
public-
what we call hotspots. For example, like the boats here, we could tell there are 5 boats in this location.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gathering water. Someone should go and take a look. Or there's an open well. Someone should go and take a look there.
It's identifying a problem that's too big to fix with your own 2 hands and you need help with.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you deploy a number of volunteers throughout
there you
the
go.
island to go around looking for potentially
Mosquito breeding sites. Could
mosquito
be-
breeding sites.
Could be, I guess it could be a boat,
Take a
an
picture.
old vehicle, a tire.
It shows up in the office. You could monitor it. You could go out and
Send it to
send
solid
solid
waste
waste out to
Public
look at
Works.
it. Public
Can you-
Works,
there you go.
environmental health, and
We all know that the folks that work at Vector Control, Minchington, Israel, and Environmental Health and Waste Management, that these are real people and they have long lists of projects on many different islands. I think sometimes the expectation is maybe a little unrealistic that they have to come out and find all the problems and then fix them. If we can help them to know where the problems are, pinpoint them to GPS specificity even, then when they come out, they can actually fix the problems and not spend all their time driving around
Trying to
looking
find the
for
problems,
problems.
okay.
So it's a public-private partnership.
So now, looking at the legislation, how does the legislation impact on owners of properties with exposed water, open water catchments, mosquito breeding sites? Because
also-
we're supposed to be looking after that. The ministry is telling us, cover our cistern outlets, cover our drums in the yard, cover all the catchments, make sure that mosquitoes don't have access to water. Does the legislation, the regulations make any provisions for penalties?
I think our first approach, I can't speak to the
Yeah,
legislation.
exactly. That specifically.
I think that falls into some of the departmental roles, so I won't even attempt that. But our fundamental approach is to take a more positive reinforcement to the community and encourage participation and positive reward. This might not be a major impact in terms of somebody's life, but we've seen in other community health projects that a certification, a sticker, an approval, this house is bug out, mosquito free, On a volunteer basis, the population, the individual homeowners or property owners allowing us, inviting us even in to help, to do an inspection of their property, to find potential issues and help them resolve them, as opposed to just labeling it as a negative.
Are you finding help in the Virgin Gorda community in that regard, where people are saying, "Come and help me"?
It's
Or
been amazing.
We've had volunteers come and say, "Look, my neighborhood, I've seen cases of dengue here. There's a system here. Can you come and look at it? What can you do?" We've had that response, yes. And in the case, I'm glad you raised that point of even access to private property, because I haven't found anyone yet who has said, "You can come on my property and help me secure against mosquitoes." Persons, they're willing and open to the help.
Has the project started?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We've done 2 cleanup campaigns so far. We've had 4 town hall meetings so far.
5 actually.
5, the support has been tremendous. Because again, you have to have the community buy-in if you're going to really solve this problem. Because if I have Zika in my house and you're my neighbor, you're going to get it sooner or later. So everyone has to be on board with this project.
Okay.
And we have found everyone willing to participate.
Okay. Is there any other new technology that's applicable to this?
There are,
This attempt?
and this is where we get into some of the interesting, future forward discussion. There are a lot of mosquito technologies in the world, and it's hard to know which ones work, and we've all, living in the Caribbean, have bought stuff that doesn't work and been very disappointed with it. This is part of our partnership with our advisors, particularly in the Cayman Islands. They can help us with resistance testing. We can send them our mosquitoes that we collect from the field, and they can apply different larvicides and adulticides and see if there's DNA resistance that's already built up in the mosquito. Mosquitoes, like all of us, evolve, so you can expose them to something that kills them today, and they'll develop a resistance. So it's really important that we don't just categorize all of mosquito control in one bucket. We have to really identify what works and what works for our mosquitoes. To your question, once we identify those resistances and what to stay away from, our program really holds paramount safe and environmentally sustainable and what I call no collateral damage techniques. I think it's important, and we've learned this from the Cayman Islands program in particular, that we divide standard techniques with emergency response separated out. So standard techniques would not be driving around and fogging, because there you're killing the mosquito that's flying around the room, but you're not killing all the eggs and larvae that are about
Source
to hatch.
reduction, yeah.
So there are methods for taking out the larvae and the eggs, which are targeted just at mosquitoes and have no collateral damage. There are products that we're discussing with Mr. Israel and with Ms. Penn to see if they meet the BVI program and government's approval. But ultimately, none of the products will be applied without approval from the community. We want to
And the
present
government,
this
yeah.
through our steering committee to the Virgin Gorda community and make sure that we don't just start using things. We want the Virgin Gorda community to know what their options are and what they approve of using in their backyard.
Okay. So now you're talking about an additional component of the approach, right? Source reduction
Right.
from ridding the environment of water catchments,
Right.
Yes.
mosquito breeding sites, and also you're talking about larvicides.
So I guess I apologize because I said we had a 5-prong approach and I only got to the second prong.
Okay.
So the third prong, then after we do some source reduction and we get down 50%, then we need to do surveillance and monitoring and find out what mosquitoes we have, where the hot spots are, what populations
yeah.
are, concentrations. And once we have that, and also resistances, we can do some lab work. And after that, with the approval of the Virgin Gorda community, then we move into control methods, actual mosquito control, source reduction, and then control on top of that. And that, our primary strategy is larvicides, larval control.
The philosophy behind this whole thing is, Cromwell, we grew up with dengue, and then you heard about chikungunya, and now it's Zika. Well, what's the next thing? We are assuming that there'll be something else and something worse. But they all come down to the same common denominator, the mosquito. So mosquito control is our primary effort. By the time we bring in the big cannons, it's almost too late. Something has happened. We're going to have some strange disease in the atmosphere, killing the adults that's spreading. When that time comes, we've already lost the battle, so to speak. So we are really focusing on source reduction.
No, I understand that, but if there's some mosquitoes that's going to escape,
of course,
and you want to kill those mosquitoes in the air as well.
Yes.
Right.
So the fogging and the big ones.
I'm trying to get the holistic approach that I think that you're taking and reducing the mosquito and mosquito reduction. Breeding size being one,
in the first place.
larvicides being another one. What other?
In terms of the control methods, we also want it to be a building block approach. So I know you want the big heavy hitter information.
The thing is, I don't want to fall and turn in a clock and then don't get the information out.
Of course, yeah.
That's
I think,
what I'm working with.
I think it's really important that we take it as a step by step. There are, I'll jump right to the big guns. There's GMO mosquitoes. There's genetically modified male mosquito programs that we've all heard about.
Yes.
The data shows that they are very effective, but we are in no position yet to recommend to the Virgin Gorda community to consider that, because we haven't done the initial stages. So in the holistic view, we have to go through the process of the least, I call it least controversial.
Least impact.
We don't want to skip over the easy stuff that could be easy wins for us and could solve the whole problem, and jump right to the things that maybe are more expensive or unproven or
unfriendly to the environment.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We haven't really.
So if there are products that we know can just target the mosquito larvae, that might be enough. We might be able to stop after that.
So the plan is to get the community involved in identifying mosquito breeding sites.
There you go.
That's your first step. And so you want tonight you want to encourage persons to do what?
To take care of their home.
First of all, take your personal responsibility
for your home.
For your house, right? I went around my house. I have I have no open water catchments. I put the mesh on my cistern outlets.
The buckets of water cover them also.
And to ask for help. Don't assume that you got it all. Ask the bug out program to come to your home and do an inspection.
Check to see if there's anything that I've overlooked.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Also, when we have cleanup campaigns, and we have one on February
28th.
The 28th of this month, come and join the cleanup campaigns and cleaning up around the properties. There are lots of vacant properties. The owners probably don't even live here. But what we have found in walking around Virgin Gorda, the garbage isn't along the road. It's 15, 20 feet inside of properties that have roadside access. That's where the garbage is. Those empty soda bottles, soda cans, and beer bottles, whatever.
People throw them as they pass.
Exactly. They don't throw them on the road, they throw them behind the bush.
Yes.
So we have cleanup campaigns to come out and help us remove these empty containers and so forth.
And just for reference, it might sound trivial to go after beer bottles and soda cans. A tablespoon of water can hatch
200.
hundreds of mosquito eggs. No joke.
Yeah.
400 mosquito eggs from a tablespoon of water is an often quoted percentage.
So we need as a community to put our trash in trash containers.
Exactly.
And not throw them.
Exactly.
I mean, up where I live, you have. I pass the road and I have to pick up bags from fall off vehicles and scatter on the bust and scatter on the ground.
It's frustrating because it's a never-ending process.
And it's terrible. I mean, it's still an issue. It doesn't take that much water to create a mosquito epidemic.
And we have a habit. We have a habit of dumping garbage and heavy garbage and vacant lots that are on somebody else's property.
Exactly.
Because we don't want to go to Popwood Pond, it's too far or truck
it could
or
be
something.
A hamburger styrofoam container, a little Hawaiian punch can, or a malt bottle. So that's enough to create a problem.
We want to get people in the habit of taking care of the garbage, cleaning up the environment, taking responsibility to not litter.
Yes.
Right.
So apart from not having Zika or any other funny disease, you'll have a clean environment.
Yeah. But we put ourselves in a more dangerous situation when we don't have a clean environment. Not only don't we have a clean environment, but we also creating diseases and hazards and dangers for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. And then you say like in Virgin-Gorda, where we in the surrounding keys, where we're primarily tourism, we cannot, on top of everything else, we cannot afford now to have any kind of mosquito outbreak, whether it be Zika or dengue or chikungunya. The economy cannot handle it.
Okay.
So we encourage, Virgin Guardians and surrounding keys, please keep the place clean.
Now, is there an economic component to this? Is there money involved? I mean, if you're going to have a massive cleanup, volunteerism is fine, and a lot of clubs and youngsters are getting involved and becoming volunteers. But this, to me, is a major national problem.
Absolutely correct.
Well, in fact, it is a national security issue.
Absolutely
Because
correct.
if it affects our economy in the way that it can, then it means that I'm not going to get money from tourism dollars to pay my mortgage.
You get it. You really understand this problem.
Yeah, you
I'll let
understand?
Jonathan answer that one.
So what is the government's role? What's the funding? What kind of major attack?
It's a public-private
What
partnership.
kind of major attack are we going to launch against the mosquitoes? Because I'm hearing Jonathan. People be nice and clean up your yard and I mean, listen, we haven't done it in the past. It's not affecting
50
us
years.
personally. I haven't been bitten by the mosquito. I haven't gotten Zika or dengue or chikungunya. I ain't studying y'all at all. So you need to get. I believe you got to have some consequences.
If you've been following the news lately, when Antigua recorded some year ago, some weeks ago, they were losing $100,000 a day because of a Zika threat. And in Virgin-Gorda, we've had persons record up to $50,000 lost in a week because of cancellations. Persons they weren't trying to come here because, my wife is pregnant. We're a family of 4. I don't want a threat of Zika.
So we are on the same page. So tell me how are we going to handle this thing from a financial perspective? What kind of money we going to throw at this solution?
Sure. So
for it to have a meaningful impact
and sustainable impact.
Yes.
Yeah, I think our goal is to create the model of sustainability. This has to be an affordable program. Right now, we have pledges of donations from private stakeholders in the community to fund a 3-year program for this. Funding what? Funding the actual control effort, funding a labor force to do house-to-house inspections and to apply the mosquito control technologies, whether we're talking about dunks in septic tanks or if there's an emergency, a breakout of Zika, to actually deploy a fogging adulticide campaign. There needs to be a labor force there. So that's within the 3-year project budget. The actual, we haven't decided, the community hasn't chosen.
Have you determined a budget as yet? What is
Yes.
the budget? What are we looking at? How much money are we looking at?
It's in the neighborhood of 1.7 million.
Okay, so we have $1.5 million, $1.75 million to get people to go out and start identifying. Part of that money is going to be used for identification of breeding sites.
So that money includes the actual task force, a task force of up to 6 individuals working in the community, much as Mr. Israel's task force works on the Tortola front. But he doesn't have the resources to necessarily cover Virgin
So
Gorda
we're talking
on a regular
about creating
basis.
some jobs here.
Yes,
Job
absolutely.
creation. It entails the actual materials and equipment to run those efforts. It entails educational materials to get into the churches, into the schools,
It should be
So
done.
a mass public information
Yes,
campaign.
mass public
yes,
information,
campaign.
which we've already initiated. We're already in the schools, we're already in the churches, explaining where mosquitoes come from, what you can do about it, and then what we can help with as well. What else is in there? Advisor travel, bringing in some of these experts to tell us, help us understand what will work and what won't work.
Consultations.
Purchasing of larvicides.
The actual control
to
equipment
control
and
equipment and
materials.
materials. Okay, so so how do people get in touch with you to make a bid, make a contribution,
Sure.
be a part of the
Facebook.
overall?
So we have a website, bugouttogether.org.
Yeah.
We'd love for everyone to visit us. In that website, you have the ability to provide us with your email address to stay up to date and to learn about opportunities to participate in the community. We have a Facebook page, Bug Out BVI, one word, Bug Out BVI. And those are the two primary ways. We do have a WhatsApp page as well, or WhatsApp group in development. Once you connect with us on Facebook or the website, then we'll also share that. And then a lot of public engagements. We're reaching out into the schools. We've met with 4 schools to date. We've been in 5 churches on Virgin Gorda. There's 15 churches?
15.
And so we're a third of the way there on church campaigns. We've done the 5 town hall meetings on Virgin Gorda, North Sound and in the Valley. And we are asking businesses to invite our group in to do our brief 30 to 45 minute presentation and really start to engage everyone.
Are you in the process of doing inspections now? Can someone call you and say, come by
Yes,
the house
absolutely.
and take a look?
Absolutely.
And so they can, and there's a,
And we've been doing that also.
and
We've
so
been very busy around
you
that.
make that request on Facebook page or on a telephone?
The best way is Facebook. We're not running a hotline yet, a telephone yet, because we're doing it all on a volunteer base. We haven't actually equipped the office, but the staff is there and we're able to and willing to come out and do inspections.
Absolutely.
Okay. And this is a 3-year pilot project that you will determine after that 3-year period whether to replicate the project territory-wide.
It's a learning curve. After we're building a model, after 3 years, we should know exactly what to do. And we could replicate it in any place in the BVI.
So you
whether in Gorda, Camano, West End, it doesn't matter.
So you have monitoring
going towards that.
Insight, getting the monitor
Baseline information. Yes, absolutely.
And get data gathering.
Just to be clear on that, if I
Sure.
may, this is a public health initiative and social works initiative. It's not a scientific study. So we do have data gathering in progress, and our surveillance and monitoring stage really is kicking into high gear in about 30 days. But we're not out to prove to the world a perfect scientific study. This is a real world application. We want to make a difference in our community. We don't necessarily want to write an academic paper about what we did.
Right. So you want real results. You
Real
want to see a reduction
Exactly.
in breeding sites. You want to see a reduction in mosquitoes.
And that's something-
And incidence of diseases.
And you want to see a reduction in incidence of diseases.
And that's something that Dr. Georges, who we've been working closely with for over a year now in building this program framework, has emphasized since day one is we don't need a study. We need boots on the ground, action in the community, and public-private partnership working together to achieve this goal.
And I really want to be here today, but unfortunately he's not feeling that well, Dr. Georges, and I really apologize for him. Would have loved to be here. He had a lot to say about Zika and even our response to
Just a couple of other initiatives that I'd like to put out there because I know the clock continues to tick.
We're literally out of time.
Yeah, we wrap up.
Yeah.
Yes,
The Bug Out program also is providing a emergency relief kit for the pregnant women within the community of Virgin Gorda. This is preventative. This is a bed net, mosquito net for the bed, an electric mosquito zapper, and also some BTI dunks, which are a larvicide treatment that is effective for mosquitoes in the BVI. So if there are women who are in the Virgin Gorda community pregnant currently and are concerned about Zika, they can go to the local clinics, and the clinics are aware, and we will provide these packages to them free, no charge. We're also looking at ways to do non-clinical disease identification for the BVI. Right now, the identification of Zika, if it was identified, could be up to 2 weeks delayed just because of the nature of the process. And by that point, if 2 weeks have elapsed, if you get a positive identification, it's too late. Everybody's got it. So we're looking at technology that we can bring in to do non-clinical identification instantly of these diseases in the BVI. This is a resource we would like to be able to provide.
Okay, we're out of time. Person I want to get in touch with you can do so by
the website, bugouttogether.org. Facebook is bugoutbvi.
Okay, cool. All right. Jonathan and Vincent, thank you for coming by.
Always a pleasure.
We got to get some more time. We got to talk about this some more. So this won't be the last time for sure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Great to share.
So yeah, so we need to get together again on this to bring out some more information.
As we get more mature in the program, of course we'll be back here. Of course we'll be back here.
Cool. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to come back with members of the financial services BVI Forward campaign to talk about that and what that means, again, in terms of economic survival and getting things done in the BVI. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and CCT Global Communications.